Here are some AFL Unpopular Opinions. I sent a post on YouTube for you guys to give me your AFL Unpopular Opinions. I am now going to read them out, and I'm going to tell you if I agree with this or I disagree. And we'll start with the comment from Duffy Does What, saying Collingwood have already peaked and will go out in straight sets. I do not agree with this opinion. I think with Collingwood, they haven't peaked. I feel like in the last month, they just haven't been the best form because they've had a few injuries. They're resting quite a few people here and there. So it's been a bit tough for Collingwood. They did play Brisbane last week and did lose comfortably. I don't think they've peaked, and also I don't think they'll go out in straight sets. I'm not sure if they're going to win the flag. It's a bit of a tricky one. I've got them. I think they'll probably still just sneak into the top four. They might lose the first week, whoever they play against, but they do have a game in the MCG no matter what, and they will win one of them at least. Whether they'll go further than like a prelim, make a grand final, or potentially win it, remains to be seen. But I do disagree with this comment. Sorry, Duffy. Next one, Hawthorn fan 1. I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion, but the Channel 7 scoreboard is goated. I did make a YouTube short earlier in the year saying that the Channel 7 scoreboard is crap, but it actually has grown on me, and I actually do not mind it. To say that it's goated, I don't think so. I think there's some decent scoreboards that have happened in the 90s and some in that late 2000s as well. I think they're pretty cool scoreboards. I think they're a bit better than the current Channel 7 scoreboard, but it is growing on me. Now we've got Let's Go Richmond Tigers. My opinion is that Collingwood and Brisbane can sometimes be bad. Well, I agree, but I feel like that's with every team. They can be bad. Like, not every team is going to be perfect every week. So I would say yes, that is true. Is it an unpopular opinion? Not sure about that. Now, Hyblop, sorry if I butchered that name. Ginnivan is awesome, actually. Interesting comment that. I'm not sure if he's awesome. I think he's definitely a character. Definitely entertaining to see. He's done a couple of antics this year, like one showing the football running to an open goal. Last year, obviously, his comment he made that he's going to meet Sydney, even though they haven't been Port and they didn't. Then, the whole aeroplane thing with Ken Hinkley, and then giving the bird to some Crow supporters as well. So he's done some interesting antics that, definitely gets into the news. I think he's actually been very good this last month. He's been in some good form, been a pretty good forward, kicked a great goal against the Crows last week. So he's definitely getting better, but I think, is he awesome? He's not my cup of tea in terms of like the antics, but he is definitely a good footballer, and he's still a young player. He's still learning the craft, and who knows? He could definitely get better as a player. The next one, we got Gemstone901_1YT. Paying to watch all the games on TV. It's just very lame and greedy. I can understand some people complaining about the fact they don't watch free-to-air as much on Channel 7 or want to watch more free-to-air games, because I don't think it's not the affordability, but it's also for the older generation that don't know how to use the technology, such as like KO Sports and potentially Foxtel, which is probably not that too much different. But we're all grown up and being used to watching free-to-air TV. Watching whether it's Channel 7 or Channel 9 or Channel 10 back in the 2000s. We've been used to it. I think we do deserve some games, like, the Thursday night, the Friday night games. I think Saturday nights need to come back as well. I think it's great to be home and watch a Saturday night game on free to air. Even though for me personally, I've got Foxtel, so I watch all the games anyway, so it doesn't bother me about that. But I don't know. Yoey10. Gonna cop a lot of hate for this, especially being a Richmond fan. But Josh Dacos is better than Nick Dacos. Oh, well, if you go by Josh Dacos' last quarter against Gold Coast, you can make an argument that he probably is just as good as his brother. I still think Nick Dacos is probably a better all-round footballer, but geez, if Josh Dacos played more midfield, geez, he could actually be at that level. He's still a fantastic player, Josh Dacos. He is an All-Australian, I think, as well as a wingman. Playing off half-back, and he's been brilliant there for Collingwood. It's been fantastic. You would have thought that Dan Houston coming in would have been the one that would have taken over the half-back line, but it's really been Josh Dacos, and he's been fantastic. And Nick Dacos, he's been unbelievable. He's Brownlow favourite at the moment, so you can't really argue that. But I don't think it's as far as what you think. But still, I disagree and think that Nick Dacos is still the better player than Josh. Kangaroo Bob. Umpires are and always have been imperfect. Been a part of the AFL since before 1900s. People claiming that umpires intentionally have favourites or are worse than back in my day are toxic. I actually agree with this comment. I think because, the media scrutiny on umpiring the last 10 years and all this rule change that the AFL have done, it's put them under more pressure, so more mistakes, and obviously not perfect. And let's be honest, the last 100 years of football, whether you've watched the VFL, the Sample, the Waffle, anywhere around Australia, umpiring is never perfect, and we know that. And obviously there's been incidents like in the AFL in the last 10 years that have been controversial with umpiring. Made me think about, I'm thinking top of my head, the Sample, the 1978 grand final between Nord and Sturt, where there was an umpire decision in the last minute where Nord were awarded a mark even though he dropped the mark, and they kicked the goal to win the game, essentially, and win by, I think, a few points. It happens. Over the last 100 years, it happens. It's never going to be perfect. perfect. So I actually agree with you, Kangaroo Bob. That is a good comment. The next one, Geelong fan 24. I wonder who he supports. So he's given me 10 of his unpopular opinions. So we're going to just breeze through these. Let's start. Jack Henry is an overall more rounded and better defender than Tom Stewart this year. Now, I think more rounded. I still think Tom Stewart's probably more rounded player. He's got a bit more attributes than Jack Henry. As a one-on-one defender, I can agree that Jack Henry is a better defender than Tom Stewart because he's more of that rebounding defender. He likes to get off his player and intercept. That's Tom Stewart's game. Whereas Jack Henry's game is more of that negating one-on-one defender, which he's been brilliant this year. Shannon Neal is a top free kicker goal in the league. And he has been quite accurate this year for Geelong. He's a very good set shot. Top 3 in the league, I don't think so on that. I think there's some other players that are probably a bit better. I can really think of someone like a Fogarty who's probably in there. Maybe even Tex is on that list as well. And then maybe a few others. I can't really think off the top of my head, but there's a couple there. So he's been very good, very accurate, especially when he's been obviously overshadowed by Jeremy Cameron. But I'm not sure about top 3 kick. Tom Atkins is the main reason why Bailey Smith and Max Holmes can do what they do. I agree with this comment. Such an underrated player. Does all the hard stuff in the midfield. I think he's number 1 in tackles. He's just a tackling machine, good clearance player, and he really allows that Bailey Smith and Max Holmes to play their game. So I 100% agree on that. Holmes is better and more damaging than Baz. I think the last month he definitely has been. He's been brilliant. He's been getting a lot of the footy. His run and carry is amazing. I guess it's like Bailey Smith, but he's kicked goals as well. The whole year, I'm not sure about the whole year, but definitely the last month, I'd say Holmes has definitely been more damaging. Stengel's still one of the best small forwards currently, even if he hasn't played the best year. Look at his pressure acts and tackles inside 50. I think there's a few small forwards that have been a bit better than Tyson Stengel. I would say you would probably say like Cozzy Pickett, Jack Higgins, Jamie Elliott if you classify him as a small forward, and Isaac Rankin. There's probably a few I could think of the top of my head, but I'd say a couple of years ago definitely has. I think he's still good small forward. Whether he's one of the best, not sure about at the moment, but he only needs to perform when it matters, and I think in finals he could come very handy for him. Jeremy Cameron will fall short of 100 goals. He might fall short in the home and away season, but if they play enough games, which I think in finals they will play at least 2 more if they make top 4. I think he'll make it. I think he'll make it in finals. I wonder if that will actually help Geelong, because if he kicks his 100th goal and the game's on the line, could really ruin the continuity of Geelong's game. I'm hoping for the sake as a footy fan, he does kick the 100 goals. So I'm hoping you're not right with that. Brodie Grundy will be the All-Australian ruckman this year. He is very close. I reckon he's definitely second. I still think Max Gawn will be the ruckman, but geez, he has been great this second half of the year. And if he keeps going, you never know. But at the moment, I think Gawn's done one ruck. Nazai Wanganeen Miller will stay at the Saints. I did make a video about this, about whether he should stay or go, and I made the opinion that he will stay at the Saints. I will agree with this still, even though he still hasn't re-signed with 3 games to go. I think he's just still waiting, just get that value up, because his last month has been outstanding. He's probably been up there as like one of the best in the league. So I don't see him leaving just at this moment. So I think I agree with that comment. Jack Martin won't be playing for the Cats in finals. Well, this was actually commented before he kicked 4 goals in 4 minutes as a sub. I think he can be very impactful, as we saw last game. So I disagree with that. He'll definitely be playing finals. And the last one here is Nick Dacos, Bontempelli, or Finn Callahan won't finish in the top 5 for the Brownlow. Well, I think Nick Dacos is going to win the Brownlow, so I disagree with that already. I think the Bontempelli may not, given that he did miss a few games with the calf early on in the year. And Finn Callahan, I wonder if the umpires do recognise him as much, so maybe those two potentially may not finish top 5, but Nick Dacos will. And the last comment is from Forever Footscray, guessing I know who you support for too. So he's got a few opinions as well, so I will go through them. Marcus Bontempelli is by far the best player in the league. I wouldn't say by far the best player in the league, but geez, he is definitely one of them. I still think Nick Dacos probably is the best player, but Bontempelli is not far behind, and you know what, you could make a case for either end, so I probably disagree in somewhat in that case. Ed Richards is the most impactful player. Whether he's the most impactful player remains to be seen, but definitely at the Bulldogs, he is unbelievable. This year he's just been amazing. Like his ball use, is able to find the footy. Now it's got to a point that at any time they play the Bulldogs, they tag Ed Richards before Bontempelli, which just shows that he is a very impactful player, and he definitely is for the Bulldogs. And I reckon definitely top 5 at least in the AFL. So in some ways, I agree with that. Definitely is an impactful player. Sam Darcy is the second best key forward. I'm assuming you're saying the best key forward is Jeremy Cameron. So I actually agree with this. I think Sam Darcy is just such a dangerous forward, hard player. You kick it up onto a lead a little bit higher up in the air. I don't think anyone can stop him. But it's hard to spoil someone with the reach he has. So I actually tend to agree. I think he is the second best key forward at the moment. Aaron Norton should make All-Australian. Well, he is up there. I think he's ranked 3rd or 4th now in goals. I think he's probably around 50 goals at the moment. If he keeps going the way he's going, his form has been spectacular. He's been kicking lots of goals. If he keeps going and ends up being 2nd or 3rd in the Coleman, there should be no reason he can't make it in. So that actually could be possible. Bailey Dale is better than Lachie Ash. For me, I think he is. I think he's done it more consistently than Lachie Ash. Ash has done it this year and he's been fantastic, don't get me wrong. But Bailey Dale has been an All-Australian in the past, and this year he's been great for the Bulldogs. He's rebounding off halfback, just a great ball user. You know what you're going to get from Dale? If you give him the footy, he will hit a target. Very good player. So I agree with that Dale is better than Ash. The Dogs don't have a top 25 key defender in the league. That I actually agree as well. You said key defender, and well, you could make a little case for Rory Lobb, maybe. He's been pretty solid, but really, he's not. Is he really that main key defender? Like, he's always been a forward ruck. Only just started going in defense, I think it was late last year and a bit this year. I actually tend to agree with that. I think Bulldogs, that's the thing they're lacking if they really want to jump into that finals race and really push, is that key defense spot. That's one thing they definitely need to improve on. And the last comment on here is Finn Callaghan is better than Nick Dacos. Right now, he's not. Nick Dacos, I think, he is up there as the best player in the AFL at the moment. But I think Finn Callaghan, he is coming. This year, he's been amazing for the Giants. Obviously, had quite a few injuries, and he's really stepped up in the midfield. He's a really good run and gun player, great left foot. He's a brilliant ball user and just a brilliant run and gun kind of player. Absolutely can be in the top 5 best players in the AFL, and I reckon he could definitely get there. Obviously, this comparison has come because they both are in the same draft year, and I think Callaghan can definitely get to the level of Nick Dacos. Maybe ask me this in 1 or 2 years' time, and maybe there'll be a different answer. So that is all of the unpopular opinions. Now, if you enjoy this content, leave a like and comment if you want another video like this. I'm happy to even do like a series of this. Might even expand the questions not only to YouTube, but maybe into the other social medias, maybe even Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. Let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea and make this into a little series. Subscribe if you are new to this channel. Thanks everyone for watching. Really do appreciate it. And if you enjoy this content, maybe have a look at this video over here. I think you'll like it.